Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com.
Hi, welcome to Rural Heritage on RFD TV. My name is Joe Mishka and I'm standing about 1.5 miles east of Central City, Iowa at the 84-acre historic Brown Farm, where folks are getting ready to host the annual Brown Farm Pioneer Days. This two-day event serves as a tribute to our farming heritage. Lloyd Brown left this farm to the Central City Historical Society to provide a site where draft horse teamsters and antique farm equipment collectors could gather and show the public how the work on the farm was done, back when it was done by hand and with horsepower.
Come on, girls. Get up. Come on, girls. Get up in there, work together. Atta girls. Work together.
We, about 6 years ago, turned this into a little threshing bee and started doing that type of stuff. We got a sawmill now, corn shelling, anything to do with old tractors and steam engines and that type of thing. Lloyd was a Mount Pleasant Old Threshers goer and that type of thing. So we feel that this is kind of a honor, I guess, for his legacy, I guess, to honor him. We'd hope to, keep this event growing. We've had a one-day event before. It's a two-day event now. As you can see, we got Model T Club here this year, and every year we add a few more things, keep this growing, the event growing. Buckskinners, Rendezvous, flea market this year. Horse plowing, a lot of field demonstrations.
How much do the people that work here get paid?
Zero.
Talk about that.
There is a lot of time and effort that goes into this place. It's upkept 365 days a year, so we can use it for this event 2 days a year. So we've got countless volunteers that do not ask for a thing other than for the people to come out and have a good time. That's what it's all about. It's a lot of work for everybody, but it all pays off when the 2 days come around, and when we get gorgeous weather like this, it especially accentuates the positive. Free admission. We actually maintain the grounds. It's 80-acre farm, like I mentioned, I believe, earlier. 50 acres of it is rented, so the rent from the crop ground that actually is used for production goes to pay our taxes and all our other expenses. So we're very, very fortunate in that regards. We actually then split off. There's about 20 or 30 acres that we get to play with, ponies and horses and for our own pleasure for these 2 days. So we're very blessed in that nature. I saw them come in as well, and I know a good chunk of them. And the tractors you saw on the ride or that came in are definitely not the ones that they are using day to day. So, but there are a lot of local farmers that we have around here, and a lot of good people. That is also a free event for us. The most we've ever had is 80 tractors on a ride. I believe, I didn't take an official count, but a good head count would probably be close to 30 today, which is a nice little turnout. We're gonna do a nice little ride, but we're always looking for more people to come out and do that. It's important to remember how things were done before, because to appreciate, I guess, what we've got now. There was a lot of hard labor that was put in back in the day just to make a loaf of bread. The tremendous amount of labor that, you'd harvest the crop, you'd take it in, run it through a grist mill. The women do the baking and all. You just can't, we don't appreciate that anymore. And when these young kids or families can come out and take a look to see, what it took to actually make a day-to-day farm or household work, you've got to appreciate your ancestors for that. You really realize how clever they were when you pick up something and you don't know what it was used for, but it probably had a very intricate purpose. That's what makes some of that stuff very, very neat and interesting is the ingenuity. You know, we've put a man on the moon, we've come a long way, we've got GPS and computers. You know what, we're reinventing the wheel all the time. They really already put that wheel into motion. So we're just improving on what they did.
On this, and this one's right now going to get used with a wagon, but a lot of the times they used to set this elevator here up underneath the old corn cribs, and then they used to start pulling the wood slats back on the cribs or whatever they had it in, and then they would just run the corn out through, and they'd have to go through and run it with a pitchfork or a corn rake they used to call them, until shovel it right into the elevator, and it would come through these elevators here, which are really slowly geared so that it feeds it. Then it comes up here and goes into this elevator, and it goes down in there, which is where there's a series of cylinders that separate the grain from the cob. And then it goes through a series of shakers here where it shakes the grain loose from the cob, and if there's any husks. This here would blow all the husks over into a pile, and a lot of times they used to put a sack on them so that you wouldn't have all the debris blowing around in the air.
And you don't have much husks on the corn you're doing?
This corn we're doing right now does not have hardly any husks on it all. It was taken with it was an older picker, but it did take a lot of the husks off of it. A lot of times the older pickers never used to do that, depending on the variety of corn, but the newer varieties of pickers, the more they got, the better it would husk them. So this one here also has an ear corn cob elevator that is currently not on it because it's got too much damage to operate. But it would go on right here, and all these cobs would actually come up over here and go into a wagon. And that always helped keep the operation going a lot more smoothly when you didn't have to rake the cobs back all the time. This machine here can be driven off of either a PTO drive right directly to the tractor, or as you see, the belt pulley drive. And the nice thing about this was it could go off either side. And belt pulley drives were a lot more, they were kind of starting to phase them out when this machine was made, but I'm thinking this one was built towards in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s. This is a Model D corn sheller from Minneapolis Moline. I like doing it because it's the past. I like keeping it alive. I like keeping the machinery in operation, and I hate seeing stuff sitting in scrap piles or, you know, behind sheds not being used. It's kind of a heritage, you know. That's part of your past, it's part of your life.
Does that work?
Oh yeah.
That's a beauty. That's cool. Hey, that works nice.
Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of Back to the Land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website www.ruralheritage.com to shop online.